Back for another week of Indie You and Me. I've got another guest this week from IMBA Interactive. I'm going to let her introduce herself.
Hello. So I'm a sound designer and also a composer in IMBA Interactive. Most of the compositions are done by me, but my background is a sound designer and a composer as well. Mainly in the company, I do go overseas quite a bit, mainly Taiwan.
Sharon does a lot of the back-end work that you guys don't notice. So how did you got into game audio in the first place?
Game audio was never on my mind.
No.
Yeah, I didn't really know that there's actually a place where people actually work. I only know that, I like playing games. I have all the PlayStations from 1 to 4, Game Boy, all the old consoles, I played them because of my brother too. So, and my family would love watching what we play together.
Okay.
So that was like more of like a family activity, but I put that behind me when I went into studying. The traditions of a family where they say that don't play too much game. Let's move forward to another area where you can be like another profession.
But this one very SG, only happens in Singapore.
Yeah, true. I left that behind me for a while, and actually my childhood dream was always fashion designer. And I actually did become a fashion designer and realized that it's not what I want in the end. Contradictions here, because yes, I really do want to go and design stuff. Generally, I love creative things. Designing is just part of me. I'm a creative person. Again, because I'm in Singapore, a lot of things I can't do because we are a middleman country where our location is very significant to like exports, imports. So there's a lot of like merchandising jobs where you deal with factories. Yeah, and the market is very small. So to be a fashion designer, it's quite hard, I feel. Unless you're rich.
Yes.
Like dirt rich, then you can have like a collection under your family name.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I've seen a lot of LaSalle fashion students have a tough time locally.
So how do I go into game development?
Yeah.
That's when I realized that in my job, right, as a fashion designer in a big company actually, they wanted to close down the design department. So that dawned upon me that maybe I'm really at the wrong place at the wrong time, where people do not value design as much. To cut the long story short, I decided to move on to study something else. So I studied SAE, which is a School of Audio Engineering.
Disclaimer, doesn't exist anymore.
It's quite sad. It's not available in Singapore anymore, even though it's like one of the best schools in terms of audio engineering.
The best that Singapore has to offer.
So I'm glad that I took the diploma there before it ended.
Thank goodness.
I still didn't know I wanted to be in the game industry. It was actually a classmate that told me, what do you want to be, after you study audio engineering? All I know was that my second love was music and sound, because I play in church. And that's all that I know, something that I'm interested in. I didn't really think about games until this friend of me asked me this question, what do you want to be? And I was like, audio engineer, maybe. Mix in a live environment or concerts, or maybe go into recording in a studio, things like that. Deep inside me, I actually like composition a lot and sound design. I could actually choose to be in the post-production industry. He told me, have you explored games? I'm like, games? What do you mean by games? He gave me a scolding. He said, how can you not know, there's so many famous composers that come out of like the game industry. Like, are you kidding me? And he told me, explore that. That is like a place where you can do whatever you want. You're talking about creativity here.
Back to where you were.
Yeah, which is what I wanted, creativity, and not like constrained by my environment. And that really got me thinking, and I was like, yeah, maybe this is a place where I can really be free. Even in fashion, you can't go crazy, you can't do something that is like, your boob is showing. And then, people cannot accept that. Not that I would design something like that, but...
You could.
But nobody will wear. Yeah, so some things are not widely accepted. But in games, it's so different, you're creating from nothing. A lot of times, you're creating from nothing.
Maybe you can iterate more. Like, what do you mean by nothing?
Like for example, if a developer were to come to you and he only has an idea, I want a game that grows plants. That's very generic.
That's very vague.
Yeah, in other words, because it's big, right? You can do whatever you want and then show it to them and they'll be like, hey, yeah, I like this. Let's like roll with that.
That sounds like a really fun thing to do.
I really like that process in general. Nothing all the way to the end product. I got into the Gambit program when I was about to graduate in SAE. there was this program that was offered by Singapore, a 5-year initiative collaboration between MIT and Singapore Lab. They call it the Gambit MIT Singapore program. I might be wrong, the full name.
It'll be quite long, but...
Yeah, there's this Gambit company in Singapore that's aided by the government where they will get 40 students all around Singapore from all departments, programmer, QA, sound designer, game designer, producer, whatever that you can think of in game development.
That's quite extensive, huh?
Yeah, so and they will interview like hundreds of people from all over different polys in Singapore, universities too.
Sounds like a pretty prestigious thing to get into.
I was having my final year project. One of the lecturers discouraged me to go for it. But I was like, I'm not gonna wait for you. I'm just gonna try and see if I get it. That was the best decision. I tried it and I got it. Even though I wasn't the best, the good thing about the program was they were looking for something more than skills. They were looking for somebody that's a team player, because in a game industry, it's very different from any industry. It's a lot of teamwork. It's all about the community. Yeah, I got the job because I think I'm a team player. After I went for it, I realized that this is really, really what I wanted to do. I didn't know that I can actually compose so many songs and different genres too.
So does the Gambit program still exist?
I think it does, but it's in another name because the 5-year program ended and then Singapore took the program back and then they tried to integrate themselves, which I think did well for the last 5 years. During my time, we go to America for 2.5 months and then we work in an MIT lab where MIT programmers work with us. It's not just Singaporeans, but there's that element of overseas schools, like in US, Rhode Island design students, Berkeley music.
That's quite the combo.
Yeah, so you get to see and learn from them as well. The same disciplines but from different schools, and you get to expose to what they learn also from their schools.
Good exchange of knowledge.
It really exposes the students of like really what is a mature game industry like in another place compared to Singapore.
Where we are,
Yeah, so they tried to integrate that in Singapore, which is not too bad. I think a lot of the mentors in Singapore are also quite experienced in especially in the indie scene. But I'm not sure if the program is still continuing today.
We'll find out.
Yeah,
I think
we don't know whether they
we'll
will continue the funding. I'm not very sure. Yeah.
We'll go back and Google that. I'm going to ask you again.
Yeah.
Like, if you guys know anybody that wants to get into game audio, like, do you have any quick words of advice to?
I think the most important thing is to be open. I think one of the reasons why I actually got into the industry so easily, right, was because I was open to talk to a lot of people. When you talk to a lot of people, especially not just in Singapore but overseas composers too, you can email them and things like that and really get to know another fellow audio person. It surprised me because the industry is nothing like what I know in the past when I worked. People are really nice, especially in the audio industry. Maybe it's because audio is always the afterthought. So we are all like sufferers. We suffer from that neglect.
And you guys band together.
Yeah, because of that, we really treasure like our audio people. Like we know the pain of each audio person. Not that we're very pitiful, but sometimes we understand what each other goes through, and then the conversations that we have are very meaningful because it's the same difficulties everywhere for audio people. It's about communication. Be cool to be out there to talk to different people, developers, your own audio people. Don't be competitive because the industry is not like that. In order to learn, you have to be a friend to everyone, and then you have something to give also. Anyone has something to give, and learn.
Remember, caring is sharing. Thanks for sticking around and watching Indie You and Me. We've got more coming up next week, so stick around.